I feel like the same women that we're talking about, like, can't get a husband, they can. They're not wanting the ones that they can get.
That's what I mean by their value. The truth of the matter is, as a guy, what I can get, that lets me know the pool in which that I can pull from. So as a woman, it's who is trying to relationship you, who is trying to ship you. Because if the niggas that you are wanting to ship you aren't the ones beating down your door, ma'am, this ride might be too high for you.
Benefit for you to see all of me, because the last thing I want is for you to be surprised and then wasted my time too, my time and yours. So I'll do like, let's have a video chat. I'll start with my makeup on, I'll take it off. You still interested? Should we still keep going, kind of thing? Like, I'm very much, I want to see all of you, the real you. I want you to see all of me, the real me. But I guess that's just not the case with a lot of women, because I do know a lot of women are more like, they're like hold back a lot and are like, oh, that's where he took you.
Yeah, and and it's just like the whole, when you're in sweatpants and that's when guys approach you the most, because to us, that's what you naturally look like, and so we're gonna be like, hey girl.
That don't be true.
What you mean?
I think that's something that y'all have in your mind. I think that's true when you find a picture perfect girl. Like, so I think a lot of men, and not just men, that whole I woke up like this, that Alicia Keys thing of no makeup all the time. I think y'all want that, but I know that y'all don't be hollering when I am barefaced.
I don't know.
Like, y'all are pleasantly surprised that my face don't look erect when I take it off, but when somebody approaches me, it's typically based on my, manicured self.
I can't speak for everybody. I can only, myself and those that I'm around. The conversations that we typically have is those situations where it's early in the morning or at the gym, or like, we would more likely be like, hey, than a full face. Not saying that a full face isn't attractive, because it is, but we are also in the time where the internet has shown us you can go from day and night when it comes to makeup. So yes, we're gonna be like, but it's almost the same way with that Hennessy thing in Miami. So what happened was, there was this transgender, man who had the surgery and became a woman, was sleeping with heterosexual men in New York. Then it became a thing. Moved to Miami, was a stripper at a famous Miami nightclub, and essentially was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And so when you understand that people can do that, can put on a face, and you have no idea, you're like, yeah, she's attractive, but
let me see what's behind everything.
I'm not gonna, because that's the last, as a straight guy, no, you can do whatever you want to do, but the last thing you want to know is, I ran up on this girl who I thought was a woman, and then, then it's just like, oh, no, that's fine, but if I had known, I probably would have chosen something different.
I think it's that, like, a lot of like ratings for women go down without the makeup on. I think I think most guys are looking for the women that are genuine 8s, 10s without makeup. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that y'all do want a bare face, but the bare faces that look that good, like almost look like they have makeup without makeup, that's not majority of women. That's a lot of women, or a good number of women, and I think that's what it's the attraction.
I honestly disagree, and it's just because I'm around niggas all the time.
Yeah.
Like, we get together and we have game night, and we put up 6 TVs and we playing video games, or, what I'm saying? Yeah. We out paintballing, and because of that, understanding that there is a population that wants to trick you, we genuinely 6, 7s, 8s. natural, can get married, can get wifed, can get a man devoted to her for life. 6, 7s, and 8s.
I believe that they can, but I feel like they don't holler at them when they're barefaced.
We don't see them barefaced.
You don't see them; they're there. That's what I'm saying. Like when we're going through the grocery store, like ain't nobody really hollering at you at the grocery store or at the gym. Like that's not
but
happening.
but you also have to approach. In my experience today, a lot more women are rude to approaches from men than in the past. So I've had instances where I just will hold the door, and somebody be like, "As you should," but we're equal. You know what I'm saying? You fought for equal rights.
You were just around a whole bunch of very trash women.
But these are just like in the wild, in the wild. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but that happens so often, to a point where like we were literally talking about this earlier, and me and my friend were talking to his sister, and we were just like, this is the norm for us in our experience, where it's just like we'll do something out of just
kind,
and it's taken as I deserve this. I don't know you. I don't know what you do or don't deserve. This is just me because I didn't have to.
Yeah,
I could have waited for you to open the door for yourself, close it and open it, because equal rights, right? We're all the same, can do all the same things.
I can't imagine. I mean, I believe you, but
yeah,
like but I'm also not. So that's fine. All right, how have your like standards changed?
I would say my biggest one is that I still have this physique that I'm attracted to.
Right.
However, I have noticed that you can still be a genuinely beautiful person even if you have on a little weight. Like my new mentality is we can get you in the gym.
But does she have to go to the gym?
What you mean?
Like, are you not? If you see someone that isn't the physique that you want, you see it as a project.
I would present it if they're not okay with it, because at the end of the day, I don't care what any guy says, right? They enjoy a fit woman, right? I'm not talking about you don't have to be supermodel, but you don't. I'm saying if I met you at 160, there's no way that I'm okay with you at 190, right?
Okay.
Because depending on your height, 160 might have been pushing it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, yes, life happens, the stress of work, motherhood, all of that. But if you're not willing to take some steps, because we understand in our community we already have bad health practices.
Don't bring this.
But it's the truth.
Yes, it's the truth. But it's not always an unhealthy person, because it could be the skinny person that is unhealthy. So we're not really talking about I care about your health.
But we should still take, because when we think about it, right? I was a, like I said, multi-sport athlete. I have not stopped being active. From the time I have never stopped being active. Okay. But I know there are people from the time they were like 12, they stopped being active. So they're more prone to certain things, health-wise. Because we understand our food, we don't always make the right choices.
But ain't no dude seeing a big girl and like, well, let me see what her actual diet is. Let me see what her actual lifestyle is.
But we could be like, she could be a little bit bigger, but still like gorgeous, and we'll just be like, maybe we can shave off a few. Maybe I can get her to come to the gym with me once a week.
So the standard is like you're still looking for this thing, and you're looking to mold this person into.
Not necessarily mold them into, because we can always be a better version of ourselves. We can always be more healthy. We could always be.
But if they're healthy and fat, would you then accept them as that, or whatever?
Because you can't be healthy and fat.
Yeah, you can.
How so?
Yeah, I'm not talking about obese, but like there are people. Think about like not necessarily a sumo wrestler like having that all the time, but being able to be healthier than a lot of skinny people out there because that's just their body type.
Right. I'm not talking about like you just carry more weight because but you're fit, that's fine, because a Serena Williams.
No, I'm not talking about that, because that's the proportions that still fit that same physique.
Okay.
If the fat's not in the same space, but they are actively working out regularly, they're actively eating healthy, but it is their
that's
body
fine
type.
because they're fit. Then you're
but
still
they may
fit.
not look fit to the untrained eye.
But we as guys, we understand that women carry it differently. I was more so talking about she's overweight. Like, you can look at her and see she's a little bit overweight, but she's still very attractive. Mm-hmm. She still has a world-winning personality. Then it's just like we can get in the gym a little bit. We can get in the gym a little bit.
I guess. I feel like then you just need to go with the people that you are actually into instead of looking and trying to change.
But see, I don't understand why wanting someone to be better is trying to change them. Because I think
the idea of that being better is not. What if they are happy with how they look?
To be.
That's what I'm saying. We're not talking about people, but we're not talking about unhealthy people.
But then that's
we just said no. But
right?
We just
no. But that's what, in reference to trying to mold. I'm more so talking about someone who is 5'5" and might be 170, right? Mm-hmm. For that height in our demographic, more so 160 is more the top of that range for a 5'5" African American woman. 160 is solid, right? That's a good weight. Some people, for other demographics, that might be obese, but for our people, 5'5", 160, that is like a solid. But we're talking about, let's say she's 5'5", it might be like 179, pushing 180. Then that's a little bit too much for your body to be carrying at that height. And so then it's like, okay, can we get down to, let's say we get down to 170. Then let's say we get down to 168. Now we've just taken what we've already been there, and it's just now. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
I feel like it should be presented like before you even start dating.
Even someone earlier today was saying that in their wedding, to marry somebody, they're gonna have a weight clause, because a lot of times you'll meet a woman at like I said, you'll meet her at 150. Y'all together, y'all been together 3 years. Might have, now they're at like 185, 190, and have no interest in putting in the work to get back. Like, that is because we're visual. Yes, you might be a great person, but I have to want to look at you.
Are guys held to that same?
Yes. Are you kidding me? That's why everyone says they want a guy who's 6 foot, and to be over 6 foot is only 15% of the population. No matter how tall she is, most women they want a 6.
Not held to the same like beauty standards.
I would beg to differ, because I understand like there's certain guys because they're found attractive. Women, all of them.
Yeah, but this is more so seen in the ones that are not attractive that are still like pulling women, because women are more likely to let go of that. Men aren't.
Guys aren't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not. So guys aren't held to the same standard that women are for beauty.
Yeah, but we'll also compromise a lot more of our quote unquote list than a woman would.
No, y'all list is just short. Y'all not compromising. Y'all not compromising those.
Yeah, but all the other stuff though, like, she has to be attractive, because that's what's gonna get her into the door. It doesn't stop there, but that's what's gonna allow her to interview. Yeah. Now, if she knocks the interview out the park, now we on to something. You know what I'm saying? But we can't then fall off on what got you into the door, because then I'm gonna be like, bro, catfish. But everything else, like, once you're in the company, like,
yeah,
okay, so I don't wear socks in the bed, but because you don't like feet, I gotta wear socks in the bed. Fine, whatever. Because she had a great.
That's one of them throwaway things that would be on a woman's list. Like, I'm not even listening to. So, do you ever think that those standards that men have are too high?
I don't think they are, but I do think that a lot of women feel like the things that we're interested aren't the things that we should be interested in.
Yeah, I think that it's okay. And I'm thinking of the traditional things of wanting a woman to look a certain part, like the things you said about
Mm-hmm.
kind of the not being contentious, just being easy to get along with.
Pleasant.
Sure. Pleasant. Ain't no niggas I know that are pleasant.
um,
None.
Women don't typically look for pleasant niggas.
That's okay. So pleasant, as in someone that I can get along with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that doesn't mean that you don't have an opinion, but like I can get along with you.
I still stand by what I said.
You don't think
No.
women want a guy that they can get along with?
That's why bad boys, even to this day, women spend a period of their time dealing with people who aren't good for them. They choose that, and then once they've done that, they find someone that they can settle with who's not as, who's
Difficult.
more pleasant.
So do you think that that's a factor of what they want, or they don't know what's good for them?
Both. I think they don't want. They want what's not good for them.
But they end up with somebody that you think don't want, or do they actually find out that I do want this?
I think a lot of times they those type of guys can provide a certain type of lifestyle, a certain type of status, a certain type of idea. But the problem is those type of guys don't tend to settle down.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you spend a lot of your time trying to get this type of guy to settle down, and then you realize from enough of whatever you're put through that it's not going to work. And so then you're going, if you don't at that point in time decide I'm going to look for a different type of guy, you find another guy similar to him and go through the same cycle until then it's like, I need a different type of guy. He might have been around the whole time, but that's not what you were looking at because, quote unquote, they're boring or, you know what I'm saying, things that you might hear.
Yeah, I get that. Do you think that ultimately they are happy in the end, or do you think that they're settling?
Who?
The women that end up, after all of that stuff, they choose someone that, again, doesn't fit that mold of what society tells them they should be looking for or should be attracted to, but going for the guy that actually treats them right?
I think because women practice hypergamy.
What does that mean?
So hypergamy is the idea that you want someone, like, once you've been introduced to a certain type of lifestyle, you can't then take a step back. So that's why.
Do men not do that?
Not necessarily. No, we don't practice hypergamy. No, we don't. It's not like a thing. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't some guys who would enjoy to. If
you have a woman that treats you right, gives you all the things that you want, you think you can go to a woman that doesn't?
It's not the same. What I mean is like this, right? So in high school, right? A lot of times the freshman girls would talk to the junior and senior guys because they were driving, right? And so once he goes off to school, she doesn't want anyone in her
that doesn't have a car.
Who doesn't have a car, right? The guy in her class who she's grown up with, who's treated her what, he doesn't necessarily have a car. He might know everything about her, but she and herself can't go back because this is what she's been introduced to. And so what I mean for like that, so let's say you're a young 22-year-old and you are dealing with like a scammer or something like that. They can provide introduce you into a type of lifestyle to where they've always got cash. They're always taking care of you. They're always doing this and that. So now this is what you're accustomed to. It don't work out because the type of person that he is. You can't then go to somebody who works a 9-to-5 and isn't providing you with that same type of.
Does that only apply to things where people are providing for you? Because I think of a lot of traits that men would like.
Well, it not necessarily, but even when you think about those type of guys, right? They're the ones who are going to be able to protect you because they have to demonstrate, because they live in that kind of lifestyle to where something might happen. So then they have to show force. So then it's also.
What are we talking about?
I was just talking about bad boys. And when you
Okay.
think about that, those are typically like, maybe sell drugs, might scam, might do something to where it's not, everything's not above board.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so being exposed to that lifestyle, there's certain things that excite you in those situations. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what I just meant.
And they can't go back from that.
No, then they are going to look to somebody who might not necessarily be in that lifestyle to where it's danger, but can still show that they can protect me or take care of me the same way that that person did.
I don't think that's true. I think that there are things that like women want, and I don't think it's particular women. I think when we're exposed to something that we find we like, we want more of that. You know, that doesn't mean that we won't, that we have to have it, but it's something like, oh shoot. So if you meet a girl that's like super sweet and you're like, damn, I like it, you're gonna want that again. You'll be like,
Yeah, you are.
or a woman that has, like long hair, like I like it. Oh, maybe I'm attracted to that, or I miss that when you're with a woman that has short hair. I think that's a human condition. I can't imagine that it's particular to women or men. All right. Well, and I said.
Yeah, no, I don't. Genuinely, that's it. I'm really looking for someone who is agreeable, fit, and friendly. Like all that other stuff, it don't matter as much to me.
So, okay, in the way that women are seen to be doing too much because of their standards being high, why is that never applied to a man in the same way? Like,
I do think it is. I think that a lot we are shamed for our preferences.
okay.
For example, just to even talk about a woman's weight, right?
Yeah.
Which is something that a person typically can control or take some steps in action towards, right? Because if a woman wants a tall guy, whatever her height preference is,
Mm-hmm.
everyone underneath that ain't nothing we can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if a woman didn't like me because I was fat, I could then take steps to maybe change my diet, get in the gym. But for a guy to be like, you know what, big girls aren't my preference. Now we're labeled body shamers, and you know what I'm saying? We should just accept it. But this is something you can factually take a step towards. You know what I'm saying? To adjust your weight.
Yes, you can take steps towards that. I don't think that it's as cut and dry as that. And I think women, their preferences are similar. Like the height thing is one, but the height thing is, although I don't think the 6 foot is really, reasonable, it comes from the idea of wanting a guy that is taller than you. Now, you don't need to be 6 foot to be taller than them, but there's a certain height difference dynamic that most women are looking for, and most men are looking for. The same reason that I get all the guys that are shorter looking at me, because I am short enough for them to still feel confident in that. Like they're not typically going after the Amazons, the really tall women.
I love them all. So I'm 5'9". If you 5'10" and above, you know what I'm saying, you can still holler at me.
Most of the time they're not, though. Most of the time they're like looking for the same. It's not. So it's not like the number 6 is it's just pulled out of thin air. And I don't think that many women feel that way in person when they meet a guy.
I'm 5'9".
Yeah.
So you got 10, 11, and then 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm only 3 inches away. And the amount of women who are 5'8", 5'7", who'll be like.
But that's because they're close. That's because when they put on heels, they're going to be towering over you.
Right. And that's true, but they're not towering. We're about.
I mean, if 6 foot is only 3 inches away, and it makes it feel like a big difference from 5'9", if I'm wearing 4-inch heels.
But it's really not when you like stand next to him, because my dad is 5'11".
Yeah.
So he's basically 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not much of a difference, because like same way he can defend, you either can or you can't.
Yeah, I don't think it's about the actual ability. I think it's the perception. And I think men feel it just as much as women, because the shorter guys are usually like.
Oh, they like the taller women. My cousin is 5'6". His lady is taller than me.
That's him. But most guys that I run into, they have a little bit of a. I mean that the Napoleon complex is real. Like
No,
it's a
I'm not saying
whole.
it's not.
Yeah. So I don't think it's. I do think again the number six is outlandish because, like you said, it's a very small percentage of people that are above that height,
15%.
and you don't need to be that much taller in order to feel like the dynamic works. But I think the concept of it isn't that far fetched. You know, it's not like it's just I want somebody to be taller. And most of the women, like again, ain't enough dudes out there that are that tall, and women be accepting these dudes all the time. I think it's just something that's put on a profile and people throw out there, but at the end of the day, you look at their dating history, they've dated dudes that are not 6 feet. There's not enough 6 foot people in the world, unless they just bad enough to get them, or they're dating ugly 6 foot people.
Or they can get them and not keep them. I would
That
say,
too.
I would say, it ain't nothing to get a nigga's attention. Can you keep it?
Yeah.
That's the goal. It ain't
Yeah.
how many you can pull in.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess that goes both ways too. I mean, it definitely goes both ways.
I don't know.
I mean, the same way that yeah, guys are the relationship keepers or gatekeepers. That's just to start it. And that even that, like, they are the ones that have to initiate it, but they have to be accepted, you know? Like,
I mean, it's true. That is true. Like, you have to present it, and then she has to be like, okay.
yeah, sure.
And if she's not, then, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
even in that, it's how many people are making that offer to you as a woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? If this is the only guy out of the last 10 who was like, hey, girl, like, let's take this, then, you know what I'm saying?
But I also think that is because of standards. Like, I feel like the same women that we're talking about, like, can't get a husband. They can. They're not wanting the ones that they can get. You know?
And that's what I mean by their value. Or is their standard too high in place of what their actual value is? Because the truth of the matter is, what you can get is your value. It really is. As a guy, what I can get, that lets me know the pool in which that I can pull from. So as a woman, it's who is trying to relationship you, who is trying to ship you. Because if the niggas that you are wanting to ship you aren't the ones beating down your door, ma'am. This ride might be too high for you.
But I think something that confuses me about that is, the dudes might be trying to ship you. I like that term that you just made up. But the longevity piece is still, like, elusive, but for a number of reasons. Like, there's plenty of those people that are of that tier that are knocking at your door, but for whatever reason, it's not going through. And that's just going to be the case for every person that's single, because every person you've dated obviously didn't work out. That's why you're still single. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily a reflection. That's just how the process goes. But does that mean that you're in the wrong tier, or you just haven't found the person in that tier, you know? Like, especially if the reasons that the relationship isn't going are different for each scenario. Or now, if it was the same thing, the same feedback that you're getting, then I think that's something to take into account.
I don't know if I see it that way, because let's use a different scenario, right? Let's say you have this employee who has gone on 10 jobs, right? The ultimate ending of each one of those jobs is they're fired, but let's say they're fired for a bevy of reasons. Mm-hmm. It still falls on the employee. You know what I'm saying? And so I just feel like when it comes to, now bringing it back to dating, when it comes to, okay, yes, the types of people who are trying to ship me are these types of people. There's no longevity. The types of people, you know what I'm saying, might differ for a little bit, but I'm the only consistent. So is it the market, or is it me and my value and my ability to keep you? Because in my opinion, just from the conversations and the dating that I have done, there's a lack of the mindset of competition, when it comes to women in dating. And what I mean is, if you find me interesting and attractive, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that there are less men, available men, than there are women, how many other women do you think can find me interesting and attractive? And then on top of that, right, are they willing to put in more work? And I'm not necessarily trying to say that that's what you should want. You should just want somebody who just, but at the end of every day as a guy, right? Let's say you're my lady. I understand there's a nigga out there waiting.
Yeah, for you to slip up.
Waiting for that opportunity where he can just put his foot in the door. And then he can just, you know what I'm saying, come in. And so for that, we have to always, if our goal is to keep you, always be on top of our game. Because we have to put in the little work to outwork the next nigga.
I think women are doing that stuff, though.
I ask, are you willing to compete?
I think that's the problem. You're asking it in a way that
I'm not asking about me.
No,
but
the way that you're asking it is foreign. It's like you're speaking two different languages. So what you're saying is not being communicated to the other party. To me, instead of, you don't even need to ask. You can see when women are like trying to show you how well they can cook. They're trying to make sure that they look good, that they smell good, that they have this stuff together. They're tripping over their words because they don't want to scare a nigga away. Like, they're absolutely trying to compete. They may not be rising to that level that the man needs, but they are trying to compete by doing all those things. Like, most women aren't coming. That's why you see all these full fucking faces, is because they're trying to compete. They're trying to make sure that when you see them, you're like, damn.
Okay, but
I don't know how many women are over here like trying to be fucking Betty Crocker, trying to woo a nigga.
See, where are these women at? Because the ones I talk to, they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to do nothing, and they're just like, I'm waiting for my nigga to come and swoop me off my feet. But to what?
I think both happen. I think that most women are wanting the man to initiate that. Like, take me to dinner first, I'll cook for you second, kind of thing. I think that's the energy, and I think it, honestly, at a basic level, I think it should be that. I think it should be the man that's showing.
I'm almost sure anywhere we can go and sit down, I know a recipe in my head that'll knock this out the water, so we can go do that. But it'd be like, don't invite me to y'all, okay?
I mean, it does. I don't agree with that, but I guess it's not necessarily for the man to show. Men are not generally expected to cook for the woman. So that's something that she has to put forward, because that's typically what a man is like wanting from. I don't know how many profiles. It's like, what you're the one for me if you can, or the weight of my heart is a home cooked meal, food, feed me. That's most of the thing that you're gonna see. So I think the woman has to. She feels like she has to put that forward, whereas the man is supposed to be providing financially. Yeah. You know, and so that's where it comes from. But I don't think that it's because she's not trying to compete or anything. I think that's just where it starts.
I don't know, because I asked, and not even to be like, for me, I'm just in general, are you going to, if you know that there's somebody who's just as interested in the guy that you're interested in, are you willing to compete? And a lot of them be like, no.
I think you're
if he's got somebody else who wants his attention, I'm going to just let him go ahead and do that. And I just think that, to me, that is wild.
Well, no. So I do get the sentiment like, I'm going to do all the things. If you want somebody else, go get her. Like, what I'm not going to do is devalue myself to the point that I'm having to, because that's what it is. Like, I'm going to do what I do and what I do well. If you choose somebody else, that's it. Like, there's nothing I can do. Like, you're seeing all of me, the best of me. That doesn't mean that somebody else isn't better, period. To you, in your eyes. You know, like, I'm going to cook, but if she cooks better than me, she won. Like, sure, if that's what you're looking for. Like, so it's not, I'm not going in with the mindset of competing. I'm going in with the mindset of being a good partner, period. In the way that I do relationships. Yeah. So it's not like, the same way a man, like, you can do all these things, but you only to your ability. You know, you can pay for these dinners. If he can pay for more, that's it. Like, you're gonna be who you are to the best of your ability. It's not like you could be calling it the mindset of compete, but that's just because you're coming from that vein of thinking. It's the same actions, but with a different label
or intention. I just think that is, to me, when you talk about to compete, it's just the intent behind the action. If my goal is to make you mine,
Mm-hmm.
and there's someone else's goal to make you theirs,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do what I can to show that I'm better than this nigga. Because I feel like I can provide better. So if I'm then, okay, this nigga is taking you out on all these extravagant things, but your favorite color or your birthstone is sapphire, so I get you something like that. You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of ways that I'm going to compete, and then you're going to have the decision to make. And then if the better nigga wins and it's not me, then the better nigga wins. And then you trot along. But what I'm saying, and even in those instances to where I just feel like when you talk to women, are just like, if someone else is going to get down at the starting line of the race, well then I'm gonna just pull up and let you run it, because the one who's there for me isn't gonna make me compete. And it's not about it's literally like a job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If this is a top job in the field of architecture and we can only take 3 architects, but we got 300 applying, these niggas gotta compete.
I think, because now I think I'm understanding what you're saying. I agree, but I think you're packaging it terribly, because it's coming off at. So even for the job, it's not even, am I willing to compete? Am I willing to put in the work? It doesn't matter who is there. Am I willing? Because honestly, it doesn't matter who is there. Am I willing to do the work to show you that I care, to show up for you in the way that you need to? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not that what you're saying is wrong. When you come at like compete, it's a different thing that I'm hearing. Yeah. And so, yes, am I willing to show up and do all the things to really show you that I'm invested and I care about what you care about? Like the thing that you're talking about, like learning anime to make sure that I'm interested in you.
Right.
If you told me compete, that's not what I would get. I get the whole like fighting against somebody else, because honestly, the mindset that I would need, that women would need, doesn't matter if there's anybody else at the starting line with you. Sure. Are you willing to show this man that you actually care, period? And again, it's me showing up as the best version of a partner that I can be. It doesn't matter who is there. I'm competing against myself, because I have the standards. Like, I am trying to be the best version of myself. Because first of all, that's as high as you can go, is the best version of yourself. Like, the other person might motivate you in different things that you can do, but you only have your capacity, period. So again, if somebody has money to do things, you don't have money, but you have a different way of reaching that goal. It doesn't matter whether that person with money is there or not. You still have the ability to show up for this person in a way that means something to them. I would hope that you would do that regardless of whether there's a dude on the other side that's willing to spend money to wine and dine her. But maybe you don't, and then that's why you need that thing behind you that's pushing you to say compete, compete, compete. But I don't know. I don't need that. I'm competing for I don't need to know that there's another woman on the other side. No, it's not necessarily to do what I need to do for you.
But it's it's that if I'm interested in, right, and I'm a regular person, I'm sure there are other regular, above average, below average, who are interested. And so it's, at any point in time, I can have a misstep, which allows somebody to then get ground and then take my place. Because that's just even, and I just think that is more of a gender thing.
Yeah, that's
because we understand. That's how you
guys are motivated.
Yeah, we just understand that there's somebody who is, as much work as we're putting in, there's somebody who might be getting to the gym a little bit earlier. And so they're putting in just a little bit more work to be a little bit better. And so then if it comes down to it, you know what I'm saying, now we are me against you, because you put in that extra work, you're a little bit better.
Yeah.
You were willing to compete harder than I was.
Yeah, I think that's just the language y'all speak in. Because, I don't feel like I need, but competition is healthy. It's a good thing. But I don't think my motivation is my partner not being fulfilled. Not the fact that he will go to somebody else. It's that they're not fulfilled. period. Like I don't need to, but I can understand the like a motivation of somebody else is out there lurking, waiting. So I do it. I know you got to get out.
Holding
so.
their breath. Yeah.
All right. I feel like I have half the questions I still didn't ask, but that's okay. We can talk about it another time. All right, guys. Thank you as always for joining us, rocking with us. As always, check me out on social media at is_Alexis. That's ISS_Alexis. No E, no I-double-S. Or catch me wherever you find podcasts at Lex Talk. LEXTLK. Can't wait to see you guys in another episode. All right.
Cool.